Hi everyone, hi beautiful souls, and welcome to the Divinely Inspired Conversations podcast. We're gonna do a bit of a part two. It's Travis and I here. Travis, do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hey everyone, I'm Travis, and I love to work on anything to do with love, especially self-love.
Yeah, I'm amazed to hear that. I agree 100%. I think self-love is very important. Travis, I mean, I think you downsold yourself a bit because not only do you love self-love, but you really are quite gifted in terms of the inner child healing. I mean, I guess that falls in self-love. Do you consider that to be self-love?
Yes, but I could also consider myself talking about the so many this the immense healings that you do as well. Let me start.
Well, I mean, as I was saying, this is part two because we spoke about a little bit about working with creator and what that means to us, where we really dove into what is creator and defining about the love aspect of it. That creator is love, it's acceptance. So we wanted to do a bit of a part two here where we took a different angle. It's still basically working with creator, but it's in a different way. It's in the angle that surrendering. How do we surrender? What is surrendering? How surrendering could actually be very empowering, and acceptance. Now, we live in a society where everybody seems to think, for some unbeknownst reason to me, that if you aren't the domineering, almost kind of assertive, if you don't adopt that mentality, then you are losing out or that you are at loss for something. But I think that what many people would realize is that a good leader, in my opinion at least, is somebody that knows that they sometimes need to take counsel and take advice from people or from others that may be a little bit more experienced, maybe a little bit more versed in something. I'm sure everybody wishes that if they knew more about something and they were working with somebody who didn't know what they were talking about, that that person would just give way to them, and it doesn't make them any less. It just means that sometimes they need to surrender the reins to somebody else to let them take over, and it's for the betterment of whatever you are trying to achieve. And just imagine that going on in your life, in your circumstance, that you are trying to control everything. You are trying to be so micromanage every single aspect, and things for some unbeknownst reason are not working out. It's because probably that we need to just surrender to whatever is the overpowering voice telling us, hey, take a step back, allow this to happen, and you would see miracles can happen. I'm not saying that this applies to everybody's situation, but I think through discernment, you would know when is the opportunity, when are the times that we need to take a step back and surrender, and when we need to um, alternatively step forward and take charge. And I think also that ties into acceptance because acceptance comes through knowing and discerning what when we need to do what actions, and through that you can accept everything that is going on. So I know that was a bit confusing. It's I left it vague so that we could go into a little bit more explanation through this part two. So before I dive too deep into it, Travis, what are your thoughts on what everything I said so far?
Hey, well, nothing, everything you see and you always say, it always makes sense to me. It always hits home, you know, and I'm so here for it. Um,
Okay, good.
yeah.
All right. Travis, I
Yeah.
love how on board you are with everything. It makes me know that I'm not talking, I'm not talking something that doesn't make any kind of sense.
Yeah, I just don't want to interrupt because I'm just so here for it, and I just want everything you say to pour out fully, you know.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about surrender, but Travis, what about I wanna hear what have you had an opportunity where you realized that surrendering was the right option? Can you go into a little bit of detail about that?
Hey, yeah, so well, firstly, with surrender and what surrender means and feels like to me, it's just simply allowing more love. It really does feel feminine because we've really have this powerful almost like it's almost we're fully programmed to tackle everything we do in this hyper masculine way where we're able to assert dominance and fully take charge and control of everything, and we've been taught that's the only way things get done. So I feel this really deeply, and I've carried about, most of us, we've carried about this for so much of our lives. And I've just found out that, well, over the years, that it's had detrimental effects on my body and health and emotional well-being, because I found that because all I wanted was just to be happy, right? That this chasing, I realized that um, uh, this way of trying to forcefully obtain something is it's just me chasing my own tail, or it's just me seeking out this love, and um, I kind of had to learn to allow more love and allow things to be. I really feel surrender to be an allowing of more love in my life. So and for things to be taken care of for me. But you know, I'm kind of getting carried away. But I know it just it's so difficult and challenging to just do that, to just give up the reins and to just let things be taken care of for us, because and we feel like it makes us weak, and it makes us uh what's the word for unmasculine, but
Demasculated,
yeah, that
demasculated.
right. Yeah, and it makes us feel more feminine, and it really is frowned upon by society. But um, I do find that at a certain point, eventually, I find that that's the really tough approach, and it makes the journey a lot more challenging than it needs to be. Like receiving love should not be as challenging as we make it, because what we're really after is the yeah it's the love behind what these things we're seeking. So I really find surrender to be this sort of more uh, laying back and more allowing things to be taken care of for us. Um, yeah.
And I mean, like, I just want people to imagine that, um, because how should I put this? Imagine that you allow yourself to become vulnerable. You allow yourself to just be taken care of, and in an area that feels safe, that feels like you would not be harmed or punished for just allowing yourself to, really accept um love. And imagine how good it will feel just, taking that opportunity, being vulnerable, and then receiving that love from a trustworthy source. And that to me is surrender. It's almost like, for those of you who've experienced this when you were sick, having a loved one, take care of you, whether it be to bring you your medicine, or to, rub your feet, or bring you something to drink, or bring you some food, just so that you don't have to get up physically and do all of these things for yourself. Now, I know that that's not everybody's experience, and I'm not trying to put down anyone, but to me, that is what surrender is. It's in a moment of vulnerability, having someone show you love, and just accepting that. Now, I said someone, but ideally, what I'm trying to say is, in this specific instance, that is creator, allowing creator to work miracles in your life, just surrendering because you know that there may be some things or pieces of the puzzle that you can't see, and allowing creator to shine that love through you, shine his loving energy through you, and work that magic so that your life could be improved. Now that could be very, very, very difficult in much the same way. Yeah, in much the same way that um you can be you can be feeling vulnerable or sick, and you don't want to be damaged at that point in time, so you choose not to make yourself vulnerable. Is much the same way that it could be scary just giving the reins over to creator and allowing him to work, allowing creator, sorry, to work that magic on you. It's scary, and I know that. I know it's scary, and it is a frightening thing, and it's not for everybody. But imagine if it is for you, what can be done. I think so often in life we tend to just try so difficult to hold control of every single thing. And it's frustrating, it's tiring, it's exhausting. But if you surrender to that love and take that risk, I assure you, like I do feel like miracles can happen. So that's a little bit about what to me surrendering is. It's allowing that vulnerable side of you to let love shine through, to let miracles happen and work collaboratively with that. And not being afraid to give up that control, because you know that you sometimes you can't see all the puzzle pieces, you can't control everything. We have no control over the way people are going to respond or how they're going to react to certain things. And what are you going to do in that instance if you choose to hold strong to control? There's nothing you can do. So just surrender and believe. And once you do that, I assure you life gets better, it gets easier. But of course, it comes with the disclaimer of knowing when and discerning when. And I feel like, Travis, that's something that we could work on in the meditation today, the discernment of when is the appropriate time to surrender. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think so as well. And I also feel like there's an element of faith in and trust in God.
Yeah, agree, agree. So I want to talk a little bit about acceptance. We touched on it at the beginning, but it's more or less that um, to us, the acceptance comes when you do allow that love to come through, when you do um, allow yourself to become vulnerable, and the love shines through. And once again, it's a scary thing. It's not for everybody, it's not for every circumstance, but accepting and feeling like you deserve that love. To me, that was something that took getting used to. It's that feeling of I've earned this. And that does not mean that you had to go through something traumatic or worked hard to get it. Everybody is deserving and earning of love. Everybody, every single person. But it still comes with the understanding that you overcame something, you deserve something, so you will be loved. And that's not for the people who think that they're always, that's for the people who think that they're not. Because once again, I think that we all deserve love. We all should be loved. But I know that the people who struggle with that tend to have a harder time. So for you who struggle with feeling like you deserve to be loved, I think that in giving up that, in sacrificing that, and giving up control and allowing yourself to be loved, then you can think of it as earning it. It's a bit tricky, Travis. It's a bit tricky. Maybe you can put it in a better way than I can. Um, but to you, what is acceptance?
Um,
Sorry, I put you on the spot there. I know.
yeah, somehow, yeah, but like, s- mm, is it okay? Yeah, I'm kind of feeling on the spot here. Um,
Okay, okay. I'll
yeah,
I'll 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 give you a moment, but yeah, it's a bit tricky. I know. So accepting love and feeling like you deserve that love and deserve that feeling of good things happening to you, good things coming your way. Like, I feel like it goes really against what society teaches us, because I feel like society always makes you feel that life is a struggle, life is hustle, life is like you have to work hard to get results, and it really isn't. Like, life has challenges, yes, but not everything has to be an unsurmountable mountain or difficult challenge for you to get rewarded. Like, you can live a happy, blessed, fulfilled life and still deserve every single good thing that you have coming to you. And what discerns that those good things coming to you is acceptance. Is acceptance of, in every single aspect of my life, because I am who I am, I will be loved. So, to me, at the very least, acceptance is just that feeling of, because of who I am, I will be loved. Creator will always love me unconditionally. So, me being me is enough. I am enough. I am worthy. I am enough. I accept his love because I am who I am. I'm a child of Creator. And for some people who really struggle with that, I get it. It's something that is constantly needs to be worked on. So what I want to do is I want to introduce like a bit of a mantra, um, for when you may be feeling in those moments of worthlessness or unworthiness. So, just feel free to just put your hand on your heart, feel that heart space, and just reflect and remind yourself that you are a good person and you are worthy of love. Hold your heart and repeat that Creator is love and I am worthy of that love. For those who have that struggle with surrendering, put your hand on your heart and say, Creator of all that is, I put my trust in you. And really believe it. Really, really, really believe it. It's not just something you're saying, it's something that you're feeling. You're feeling that feeling of surrendering to that power, that love. You're putting your most valuable resource, your trust, in that love, that good things will come. And then you're accepting that love, that the creator of all that is love, and you are worthy of receiving that love. And believe, really, really, really believe it, because you do. Everybody deserves love. Travis, I remember multiple occasions. You and I have met some people mutually, have met people together. We've had stories and shared stories, and I know that worthiness is something that some people really struggle with. Um, are they worthy of being loved? Because they've really met some people who have tried to convince them otherwise, and it's something that I feel like we need to really heal. You spoke about it at the beginning that, you love all those things, self-love. And so I know that you have experienced and met many others who have struggled with that inability to love and accept themselves.
Yeah, thanks so much for bringing that up because I felt the same way. I feel like the main reason why we don't surrender, one of the main reasons, is because we feel like we need to do something to be worthy and deserving of God's love, God's intervention, for God to save me, rescue me, anything like that. So we may work on that a bit later on, but the mechanics of surrender and why we choose not to surrender usually comes from that place. So it's something we'll want to shift because we always are worthy and deserving, and there's nothing to do to receive God's love. So we're meant to receive it. So I'm talking to you guys. I'm just here. I really want to reach out to you, who feel this struggle with surrendering, especially when you're in a dire situation. You have bills and rents to pay, stuff like that, and you're just really in a rut, and you are not sure where to turn. You're feeling really despondent about your faith and your place and certainty right here. So we're speaking to this energy, and there is so much fear around that. All right. So yeah, that answered the question.
It did. And
Hmm.
it really is that fair. And I think that that is the mechanism to really drive the um people who want to go against surrender. So yeah, I really want to tap into clearing the fear, clearing the energy of fear and replacing it with love, replacing it with I am with Creator. I have nothing to fear. So, and I mean that is what you're feeling. That's what you're feeling when you surrender. And you're telling him that you put your trust in him. Once you put your trust in him, you release that fear. So so yeah, I feel like let's go into it, Travis. Let's tackle it. Let's do a meditation and tackle that fear.
Yeah, we can do that. But there usually is just so much resistance which comes up to
Yeah.
surrendering. It really is a more it can be a more challenging topic. It certainly is for me. I've really struggled with this, guys. I really struggle with surrendering. Um, I know we did part one, but surrendering has been a recurring theme where I felt like I got good at it, especially last year. And then I feel like this year requires me to surrender even more. Like, I feel like the universe is just saying, or I just feel like the universe is just saying that I need to fully let go of everything and stop trying so hard, and it can be really challenging because it can feel disempowering to not surrender. It because sorry, to surrender, it can feel really disempowering because it feels powerless, not having control or not knowing the certain outcome that we're so used to certain outcomes, and having so much certainty. The ego really, I feel like this is the thing that ego claims it clings on to the most. The certainty. It just wants that every step of the way. And anything that isn't that, it generates huge its amounts of fear, to overwhelm us, to make us kind of go back home to comfortable places, people, and situations. So it kind of requires this constant navigating through that fear, and it's just, it's just that kind of living life on the edge of the comfort zone, which can just be so scary. So Yeah.
Yeah. So let's dive into that resistance and what do you think that I know the resistance and the fear are linked
Mm.
irrevocably. Um, so what do you, in your opinion, what do you think is the way to really relinquish that fear? What do you think? Because I think it is through trusting and accepting love from Creator. But I wanna hear from you because I know you said this is something you've done exhaustive work on. How do you think that the person, the average person, if they're doing work on themselves, how do you think that they tackle that fear?
All right. Well, is it okay if we talk it through a bit more? Um,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
right? So there is this fear, right? But then when we release that fear, it's like we're now afraid to trust in God, and it's like we're afraid like of the worst that can happen from being um taken care of, or you know like for example, if you're letting our previous podcast was working with God, so we feel we're afraid that life will turn out in ways which aren't really what we want. So it kind of also requires giving up what we think we wanted, right? We think we wanted the money or job or clients, business, whatever it is. It kind of requires surrendering that and various parts of the ego to receiving the things we were truly after. But honestly, resistance just comes up, and uh, and uh, and yeah, if we're able to hold this open space, um, with you guys, like I'm here right now representing everyone who really struggles with this, right? Which is most people. So maybe as Jared and I talk, or maybe Jared could just jump into the meditation and do it. But feel like I'm representing everyone who struggles with this and has a lot of resistance behind this and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that's important because for me, it's something that I think that through meditation I work through, but I know that I might not be the best sample size for the general public in this regard. So I really would like to hear from you, Travis. Like, let's talk it through. So, what do you need to what do you need from me to feel like we can lead everybody down a comfortable path to, give everybody space to get ready for this kind of discussion?
Um, well, um, at this point, it just feels like we want to let the audience trust us and know that we have been through situations where we've struggled to surrender, and the surrender that we did, it allowed us to have a higher quality of life, or the surrender we were able to do, it had a profound effect in our life in some way.
Agreed. Yeah. hmm It's okay. So let me talk about my
Mhm.
experience in that surrendering.
Mhm.
Um, because for me, I have I'm a person that likes to be in control. I like to have that measure of control because I think that as I've said previously, like things have gone wrong in the past, and I in order to avoid things going wrong, I tend to want to hold on to the control so that I could kind of like, if just in case I see things going down a sketchy path, I know how to react. And it really is a self-preservation mechanism. And I'm a bit of a people pleaser too. So it's also like to make sure that everybody around me is happy, is safe, is secure. So like that's why I like to personally hold on to control. Um, so for me, letting go and letting some chance or risk in to have things go terribly wrong was a scary thing at first. But what really helped me was just knowing that one, I can't control everything, and that trying to put all of this pressure on myself to do so was being more detrimental to my own health and my when I say my health, I mean my mental health, my blood pressure, like trying to hold so strong and so firm to that control was really doing a number on me. And it was almost so cathartic when I just heard that voice in my head saying to let go, to that I was safe, that this is a safe space, that I can just trust in the loving energy of Creator and just allow Creator to do the work, to just take over. Um, and I think that was really good for my own health because, like, the more I think about it, the more situations like going forward in life that I will have no control over. You can really do your best in life to try to protect the ones you love, to protect yourself. But at any point in time, anything can happen, and there's no way that you can control every single aspect of every single thing because the older you get, the more circumstances you will encounter that that would allow for risk in your life. And you just have to hold hold that space, hold that belief that Creator has your best interests in heart and he's working with you to try to make your situation better. I mean, you can do everything you can. You can protect yourself. I'm not saying don't do that, just walk blindlessly and aimlessly. You do everything that you can to ensure success. But at the same time, like anything could happen at any point in time. So, what do we have? We have faith, we have surrendering that we know that Creator has this, we know that Creator understands this, we know that He has our best interest. So with that, I that's what I hold on to. I hold on to my faith and I hold on to the belief that I don't know what's coming next, but I know that my trust and faith in Creator will see me through it.
Yeah, I love that so much, Jared. Love that so much. Um, and I feel like this is what we need. um, I guess from this episode.
Yeah, yeah. I I wish that I could see things more from the other side in terms of being able to completely empathize with that fear. But I don't know. I think it's just because I place so much trust in Creator and that loving energy that that fear is not something that resonates with me.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes so much sense. So, and I love that. My goal is to be in that place. And I feel like we'll be more there after this podcast. I'm coming to you guys as well, guys. Everyone, however you identify as, I'm coming to you all as someone who has tremendous resistance to surrendering at this point. And but at the same time, I do know that this topic is so it's so almost sacred. It's special, important. It's something I want to learn to embody more of because I do know that its impact in my life could be really profound. And I do know that the more trust I learn to put in God, the more things I allow things to be taken care of for me, the easier life will get. I have found that to be the case, but it's challenging to do. I find it challenging to do this consistently. Um, because every day ego will try to regain control. So there is this kind of sort of dance or battle, however you wish to put this, always between ego and heart, and it's I feel like it requires a more constant, a sort of constant embodiment, at least for me, who I find I tend to take the really struggle road. I suppose I would love to be able to do this a lot more effortlessly. So
Mhm.
I am really here for this, to be able to embody more surrender and faith and trust more effortlessly.
Yeah, so in terms of trusting more effortlessly, so let's talk about it on a community level, right?
Hmm.
To those people that have a friend or a partner or somebody in their life that really does is going through like that struggle period of being able to surrender and to accept, how can we support them to help them on that journey of learning to accept and reflect in that loving energy? How can we support that community?
Yeah, yeah, we're here to hold space for them, firstly, and firstly let them know that, uh, we're here to make them feel seen and heard and felt and part of our community, our tribe. And it's very human, it's very normal, and in fact, all of our human journey is around learning to allow allow more loving and to develop this connection and relationship with God, or just with ourselves and universe, however you wish to put this. But this is really, our life's journey in building this relationship. And I feel that same thing, we probably place too much pressure on ourselves to do it right away. Um, and yeah, we're here to hold space, and we also would like to shift some of this energy, if you guys are, if you all are ready as well.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, because I do think that it is important, and I do think, I mean, I know I sounded like I was a bit rushing earlier, and I'm so sorry for that, everyone. But yeah, I'm glad that, Travis, you are here to represent that community and really, hold space for them. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you so much for holding space for me as well. What happened is that I didn't feel Russian. I What happened is that the surrender, the fear of surrendering, it put up more resistance. So actually there was no Russian because the energy always wants to this energy of faith and trust and love always wants to permeate. So that's really what it is. It's just that the fear, it put up more resistance to surrendering. This fear of actually this deep fear of not being taken care of, not being supported, and not being loved as I um proceed to have faith in God. So that's the real fear there.
Okay, I understand that, and I'm so glad that I'm learning. I feel like I'm learning, and our listeners are learning so much more about how to really connect with that. Um, from either side. So from my side, we are learning how to support, and we're learning how to a little bit more about the difficulties and the challenges. And I feel like the other side is also feeling heard. And I love that. I love that for everyone.
I love this whole thing.
Yeah, so okay. So what would you like to do now? What would you like to, I mean, I have a question. I have more questions if you want to, if you feel free
Yeah.
to like answer them.
Hmm.
So in terms of surrender, um it could be a bit challenging, it could be a bit tricky. Um so I definitely think that it is something that, as you said, you take time, you be patient with yourself. You don't, feel pressure to go at any pace as faster than what you feel comfortable with. Um, and I completely understand and agree and accept that. Um, but in terms of the surrendering aspect, how how do you know when is the right time? Because I just understand that so many people these days, when things feel challenging or when things feel scary for them, they may choose to keep putting it off even past the point that they probably should. How do you know and discern that? How does discernment play a role, and what is the best way to discern for those people? So like how, for example, because I mean you would have probably have felt this way too. The point at which you felt, okay, now is the right time.
Yeah, and feel free. Like, so basically, yeah, it's a really, really, really good question. Uh, So yeah, basically the time is always right. It's always right. This energy of love and faith and support is always there. It always wants to permeate. It's always there. It's just that we are not ready yet. We're resistant. We've been triggered, especially when something traumatic happens. That bill came or um something happened which really triggered us into feeling really unloved and unsupported. So it's really when it's completely okay to I'm seeing this now, but it always feels very like a huge emotionally fatal blow to go through that. So it really to me it feels like it's when you know that time is when you're ready um to open up to yeah to being supported. So for example, like today Jared and I did this podcast, and this really helped to open me up because I've been having so much resistance. So because Jared scheduled this for me today, this really helped me, so I knew that this is the right time for me. So moments like that.
Okay, yeah, I think I really do see that. So in it comes in different forms, I would imagine. So sometimes it's like, you feel that push, you feel that call. Sometimes it's that situations present themselves and you feel like, okay, now is the right time because this situation was inspired by, let's just say, creator. So you think that, you know it when you come across it, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, at least for me, I wanted to share, your own, anything you want to share as well from your end. I really want it to be, us, both of
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Mhm.
sure. So in the moments that I felt the call to surrender was really that, as I was saying in the previous episode, it was that I felt just that um almost a point of desperation, almost to the point of I'm really, really, really not enjoying the experience, and life has to be more than what it is currently. And because I reached that point, I never reached a completely dark place where super serious dark thoughts occurred to me, thank God. I never reached that. But I did reach to the place where I was like, I need to make some changes, and I need to, reevaluate my outlook on certain situations, because it wasn't serving me, it wasn't bringing me joy. And I do believe at the end of the day in life that we are here to have a happy, joyful experience. And, like, I don't believe that we were born to be miserable all of the time. And what really pushed me over the edge was that because I was having such a miserable time at times, that I deserved more love and I deserved more. accepting more love into my life. And at that point, I realized that it's because I was trying to be almost to the extent of something that I wasn't. I was trying to people please too much. I was trying to, represent an image of myself that society would have probably at that point in time deemed more acceptable. I was trying to portray a version and an image of myself to allow people to like me. And I was chasing all of this like from people, and I wondered to myself, but Jared, do you even derive any liking of yourself, or is your liking of yourself only based on other people liking you? And that's when I realized that the only love that I should really be really and truly working with was creator's love. And I already had that. I had that just being me. And I didn't have to put on any airs about myself. I didn't have to try to be anybody else. I didn't have to people please. And that's when I realized, and I came to the realization that, you know, just being me was enough. And I had to surrender the control of wanting to portray this perfect image. And I know that we went into this in the last one as well about, being and accepting flaws, and that was really it. It was just, accepting that I know I'm never going to be the best at certain things, and that's okay. I know that I'm never going to be um someone that will always know exactly what's the right thing to say, or always be, adored by the fans, or someone that is so much like grandiose and bigger than life. And that's okay. Like, we all have dreams, but if you don't meet those dreams, that's okay. Like, it's okay to be who you are and to love who you are and to accept love for who you are. The right people will always love and accept who you are. And I think that once I realized that, and once I realized that I really and truly was deserving of creators' love, um, that I kind of was like, all right, I don't need to control. I don't need to, I could surrender. I can surrender that control. I can surrender that um resistance to trying to be everything everybody wanted or what I thought everybody wanted from me. It was difficult. It was really, really, really difficult, but I just let it go. It was almost like if I was carrying this backpack full of heavy stuff, trying to be this perfect person, and I just took off the bag and I left it where it was, and I walked off without it, and it felt like an enormous weight was shrugged from my shoulders, and I can't I can't put into terms how it feels in terms of my outlook on myself now, because I think that it's ever changing and it's very complicated. But I do feel lighter, I do feel happier because I don't feel the burden of other people's expectations. You know, Enya once said this to me years back, and I have it actually written down on a board in my house. Um, she said that your expectations are not my problem. And that is such a poignant statement because, we think we need to meet everybody or society's expectations of who we are, who we should be. But we really, really, really don't. The only thing we need to be or strive for are the things that make us happy, are the things that make us who we are, the things that make us good people. And that's all. You can't strive for perfection. You can't strive to be loved and adored. You can't strive for that because it's unattainable. You set goals that you know will make you happy and you achieve them in your own time. So if, for example, you started off this year wanting to lose 30 pounds and you think that that is achievable for you, then fantastic. You take the time and move at the pace that you need to do that to achieve that. Even if it's like you walk up and down your hallway today and tomorrow you do the same thing. You do the same thing for 3 days after that. And if on the fourth day, you take a further step somewhere else. Like you move at your pace. You don't feel the pressure. You don't feel the pull and the urge and the need to do something that makes you unhappy, that makes you uncomfortable. But at the same time, you know, don't you don't punish yourself for not making progress, but also take time to accept and love where you are and accept and love that you do deserve good things. And then to me, once you accept that, progressing becomes a lot easier. Once you accept that all you can do now is walk on the hallway, but maybe tomorrow you can walk out the door and venture a little bit further. Accept that that's a possibility. Accept that love and grace and compassion for your circumstances. And in my opinion, it opens a lot more possibilities.
Yeah, I really love that, Jared. I love hearing that so much. I love hearing your experience, and I find it so valid. And I just love knowing that so many people might have never heard these things before. So I just love that you shared that, and
Yeah.
I really loved hearing that.
Travis, I love speaking with people, right? And I mean, I was once told that I may have social anxiety, and maybe I do, maybe I don't, but I love speaking with people and having one-on-ones with people because you learn so much about life through having conversations and these sorts of conversations. Not necessarily the ones about like the surface level conversations, but the ones about thoughts and ideas and like hearing people's stories. And I always thought that people need experience in order to have a real informed opinion on a topic. And I was taught, and this was very recent, that someone who may not have had experience in what traditional experience defines, but somebody who just loves learning and loves observing and analyzing, that they can have like their informed opinion just based on living a life and accepting what it is and what it could be. And I had a brilliant conversation recently with a person about that. And it really goes to show that there's no one way of achieving and doing something. So, I mean, I might have my way of doing this and it might work for me, it might work for others, but it may not work for everyone, and that's okay because they may be inspired to figure out a different way to go their own path. And to me, that is part of surrendering. It's surrendering because it's the acceptance of that one way of doing something is not for me, but I will find my way and I'll find it in by doing it in a way that feels comfortable and loving to me. And I mean, I completely honor and accept that. If somebody was to come up to me and tell me, Jared, I figured out how to solve this problem. It wasn't in your way, but I figured it out in my own way or somebody else's way or something, I would be completely open to that because I love that. I love, 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 love hearing other people's experiences and learning from it. In fact, I might ask them, if they're willing to share, what was their method, and so that I could learn more and maybe give out different opinions on, oh, this didn't work. This was how somebody else who encountered this problem solved it. And I think that that's life, that's love, that's loving and accepting the diversity and the brilliance of vibrations and frequencies of that form a spectrum of life.
Yeah, Jared, I'm just so here for it. I'm just so here for everything you're seeing. I know your tribe will love it, and your sorry, people. I know so much people will resonate with that, and they've just wanted to hear. They've been waiting to hear this for so long, and yeah, it's just everything they need to hear at this moment.
Yeah, and Travis, I just want to thank you so much for opening up about your experience. I know that this is something that was very, very like, the alarm bells went off in your head with regards to some of it. And I want to thank you so much for being so vulnerable about it.
Yeah, thanks so much. It definitely went off immediately.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. So,
But I had
I
to
do,
sorry, I did have to surrender to trust
yeah.
that my fears and inadequacies will be taken care of, and I'll be able to uh and that same thing happened, and I was able to breathe some air into these parts of me which were terrified of um surrendering control, and they felt these parts of me felt really um supported and safe in let's just letting go for a moment, and that felt so liberating.
I am really, really happy to hear that. I am really, really happy to hear that. I think that, you know, that that being able to just trust and accept and know that things are going to be okay. I know that that's not easy to do. But the fact that you were able to not only recognize it, but able to, have that journey, like I love that.
Hmm.
I really, really love that. And to me, like that's what I want to be able to impart for this. Like if we could have like one thing that the listeners could take away from this, I would love if they can learn similarly how to be like, this is something that is triggering to me, but I'm going to not be afraid. I'm going to breathe into it. I'm going to do it at my own pace. And I am going to, try to see what comes up and what I could, just trust and relinquish and surrender to and accept. And, I would love that.
Hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree more there, Jared. um
Yeah.
yeah, I Yeah, I felt like we touched on a lot, and there are so many parts of us that are afraid to surrender, and we're simply learning to hold space for them and nurture them and stuff like that until they feel supported enough to let go, and yeah.
So what I do want to do now is I do want to hold space for that, and I do want to create that safe energy. I mean, if anybody who's listening to this, they feel unsafe or they don't feel called to work on this right now, then by all means, come back when you do, when you're ready. Um, this is a non-judgmental space. We completely accept that things happen in their own time, in their own divine timing. And I completely honor that. I think that is okay. That is, and I just want to send all my love and all positive vibes to everyone out there, whatever is they're going through. That I know life is tough. I completely, completely, completely understand. And I'm really hoping that you are taking good care of yourself, whatever situation you may be going on through. And that you do have that person in your life that you feel safe or makes you feel safe, that you can discuss. And because I think that's really important. I think not going through things on your own, but having that person you can talk to is important. And I think having a relationship with you know uh a being beyond our capacity. For me, it's God, it's Creator. But having that strong relationship that you could have those discussions with is also equally important. So yeah, so I want to just create that safe space, that safe energy, and I want to breathe into this one. I want to take our time a little bit, Travis, in the initial stages here, because I understand that this could be triggering. So I just want to start off with a nice, deep, clean breath. I want to close our eyes and just release all of the tension, all of the worries in your own pace. Don't feel the need to do this at my pace. You release it at your own pace. The next deep breath in and release out. I want you to imagine, like the the goals and the happy thoughts that you want to create for yourself. I want you to imagine the life that you want to create, that you envision. And I want you to treasure that in your heart, hold on to it and believe that it can be achieved. And I want you to just allow yourself grace, allow yourself the compassion, allow yourself the ability to accept that things may not be what you want them to be now, but that you will work towards that goal, and accept that, really, really, really accept that you will work towards your goal, whatever that means for you, and whatever timeline feels right to you, you will work towards that goal. I've met people that have gotten their further education, their degrees, their bachelor's degree, their master's degree at all ages, because that was the time that was right for them. And like their life happened in different times. I mean, I'll share my story. When I moved across to the UK, I basically started over. I had experience back at home, and I started over. And sometimes I feel the um a bit of a sting that like there are people who are at my level in work that are much younger than me, and I kind of I feel like that bit of um pushback in terms of, like, why couldn't I have had other circumstances happen to put me in a better situation? And you know what I do? I say my story is my story, and they have their challenges, I have my challenges, and I leave it as that. Because I could never imagine what some of them may be facing that is not part of my journey. So why should I be looking at the blessings that they have when I don't know what they else they may be dealing with? So yeah, just focus on your own story. Just focus on your goals. Just focus on the accepting of what is yours. My story is my story, your story is your story. So just resonate with that. Just resonate with your story. What would you like your story to be? Where are you now? And accept your story. And this is not a one and done. This is something that needs to be done over time because you'll have your moments where it's easy to accept it, and then you'll have your moments where it's not so easy to accept it. So feel free to just come back to this space and allow yourself to just accept your story. And now, once again, I want you to bring in that loving energy. Breathe into it. Breathe into the loving energy. Allow it to encapsulate you. Allow it to shine bright, that goal that you've set for yourself. You want to work towards. Allow that loving energy to just encapsulate you. Creator of all that is, we accept our stories. We accept that we were dealt certain challenges, certain opportunities, certain uh, parameters in which we live. We accept that. And we also accept where we want to go. Please guide us from where we are to where we would like to be. Be there with us, hold our hands, protect us, remind us in our good moments and our bad moments, remind us of your love and your support. And please allow us to release and relinquish all of the doubt, all of the fear. We understand that this is a lot easier said than done, but please, if it be your will, and if it be in the best interest of our higher and greater goods, then let us release all of the negativity, all of the naysaying, all of the fear. Let us release the resistance that doesn't serve us. But please allow us to move with our goal in a progress that both we and you feel is what we need, we should be, and what we can accomplish. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. And so it is. Travis, would you also like to add something?
Um, sorry, what was that?
I was just wondering if you would like to add something.
Oh no, that was so good, Jared. That was everything. Um,
Okay,
I'm
I
still
really wanted.
here. I'm still here in awe of it. Yeah, like wow.
I really wanted to hold space for all tribes, you know, and I didn't know if like I covered everything. I just gave everything to Creator and allowed him to take over. But I didn't. I wanted to just make sure that everything was covered.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was so much love and healing took place there all at once. Yeah, it was so much more than it was so much. Yeah, you know, like can't even begin to quantify it.
I'll tell you what, like I felt it. I really, really felt that one. I really, really felt
Mm.
it. So everyone, I hope that that was healing for you. I hope that, you know, you got something out of that. And I mean, feel free to reach out to us if you feel like, you know, there's a little bit more you need. You know, Travis is once again very, very good at helping people through these, and his DMs are open, people.
And
So,
thanks so much, Jared. And you as well. You know, it's so wonderful just being held by your space and
yeah. I mean, and Travis, I mean, like, I know that this is something that you have worked on and continue to work on, and I think that yeah, it would be really good to, you know, like hear some feedback from other people, like you know, like what their experiences was. So I think that if anybody wants to reach out to us, feel free. And yeah, let's continue the conversation. Let's continue keep this going. We are all part
mm,
of this greater community and these tribes that want to achieve good healing energy work. There's so many people out there that want to detract and bring us down, and we are just here to say no. We are healers. We have a purpose here to help people and to really heal. So yeah, we really hope that was helpful. Please, if anything we said um, didn't feel right, please allow yourself to do what feels right for you in your own time. And feel free to once again reach out to us and let us know how you felt like in this healing or in any other healing. And yeah, feel free to engage with us. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us and listening today. I have been Jared. Travis.
we've been super blissed out. So please, yeah, please reach out in the comments and let us know. And thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and speak